Alright, how's it going, everybody? My next request is for potato pancakes. Thank you, Dan and E.T., for the shout out. Real quick, here's what I got. I have 2 large, brown skin potatoes, Idaho, russet, whatever you got. Basically, I've taken a box grater and I've grated down those 2 potatoes and about 1/3 of a sweet onion. You could use chives, whatever you want. Now, the most important thing when you're making potato pancakes is to make sure you get all the moisture out of the potatoes. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this whole mess of potatoes and onions and I'm going to put it into a dish towel. You could use cheesecloth, whatever you want for this. Just basically we have to have something we can put them in and wring out all the moisture. Okay, I'll get this bowl out of the way so you all can see. So I'm just going to close up this towel with all my potatoes and my onions in it. And I'm going to squeeze out all the moisture. And you'll see it pouring out of here. It's a lot. And I guarantee that if you all have trouble when you're making potato pancakes with them being too mushy, not crisp, whatever the case may be, this is probably part of the problem. You really have to get all that water out of the potatoes in order to get a crispy potato pancake. So just give it a real good squeeze. Get as much of that moisture out as possible. And you'll have a much better finished product. Okay? So I'm going to throw what I have back in the bowl. I'll turn the computer in just a second. Mom's still waiting on that camera. Birthday's next weekend. Just saying. Alright. So I got it back in the bowl. I know I also need some clear bowls. That'll probably help with this process. But basically, like I said, just those 2 potatoes, 1/3 of an onion or so. I'm going to throw 2 eggs in here. 1 would probably do the trick. 3 would be fine. Whatever you want. Basically, just to give it a little bit of a binder to hold everything together in the pancake. I'm going to throw my stove on, so probably high heat will be best. Throw some olive oil in there in a second. Salt and pepper in with your potatoes and egg mixture. Let me get a little bit more salt. That's going to flavor it, so make sure you're liberal with that stuff. Alright, mix this all together. The eggs, the potatoes, the onions, salt, and pepper. Whatever you want to throw in here. Chives would be great. If you have some leftover mashed potatoes and you want to throw that in, mix up the texture a little bit, that would be great too. Okay? Basically what we have now is a combination of the potatoes, the eggs, salt, pepper, onions, and whatever ratios make you happy. And we're just going to form nice flat pancakes out of this, basically. And we'll throw them into a pan with some nice olive oil. I got to throw some oil in this pan, which would have been a good idea before I got my hands all messy, but, that's what the sink's for. Alright, so throw some oil in the pan. Should already be heated enough. And we'll just start basically throwing these down to get a nice brown sear on each side, okay? Again, you want to hear that sizzle. When you hear that sizzle, you know your pan's hot enough. Okay, so just keep forming these patties up. You could probably do, I could probably do 3 at a time in the size pan I have going. And 2 potatoes, it looks like I'll be able to make 6 or 8 pancakes out of. So just depending on what you're making them for, how many you need, that'll determine what your ratios are going to be for this recipe. But we'll brown them good on one side. We'll flip them over. Alright, let me get this over to the side. Wash my hands up quick. I would say that they'll probably take 2 minutes per side, and that's it. So, again, another quick recipe that I'm showing you all. I do love cooking, but I don't like to spend too much time in the kitchen. So, I like finding things that can be pretty quick, get the job done. You know what I mean? So, we'll just give it a bit longer on this side. I would say, though, the two biggest problems probably when people are making potato pancakes is A, not squeezing the water out. That's the biggest thing. And B, not seasoning enough. So plenty of salt and pepper. Potatoes take a lot of salt, so don't, be liberal with that. And when we take them out of the pan, we can again throw a little bit more sea salt on top of them. You like how I'm talking with my spatula? I do. Alright, so let's see what this first one looks like. And if you're having trouble getting them off the pan and flipping them, it might just mean that they're not quite ready yet. A lot of times when you're cooking, things will pull away from the pan as soon as they're ready to be flipped. So if you're really feeling like you're scraping, you might want to give them another minute or two. And that's sort of what I felt with this, so I'm not going to flip the other two just yet. Just give them a second. Now when I talk about, I'll let you see my pretty face. When I talk about squeezing water out of things, another time you'll see that really key is spinach artichoke dip, or anything you're using frozen spinach in. You gotta be careful because spinach has a lot of water in it. And when you cook that down, you're just gonna compress the water. So make sure that if you're making a dip like that or something, you don't want it to be watery, so you want to squeeze all the water out of that spinach. Same thing with potatoes. A lot of people have trouble because they try to make potato pancakes and stuff like this, and it just becomes, kind of a watery mess. A lot of times that's just because you got to wring that water out. Alright, so we're going to flip the other two here. We have a nice brown sear on them. Now, like I said before, you can, let's see if we can get a little bit closer here. A lot of times you might have leftover mashed potatoes, something like that. Leftover rice is a really good time to make sort of a rice patty like this. Mix it with whatever vegetables, meat you want to. Just get it in a nice patty and throw it into some hot oil, and you can make a nice pancake like this. Now this would go great with anything. I mean, a pork chop, really nice. It could go nice on its own with some sour cream, which I happen to have, and is exactly what I'm going to eat it with. So I'm going to grab some sour cream and salsa, actually, and we're going to go in a Mexican direction. And I'm going to give one of these a try, because I can. Alright, so here's what I have. I'm going to grab this one right here. That'll do it. Okay. Good. God, it smells like French fries. Oh, who doesn't like French fries, Who doesn't like potatoes in general? Okay. A little bit of sour cream on the top. I'm going to grab a little bit of salsa out of here. And again, you can serve these up however you want, but just because I look so good when I taste these things, I'm going to do it again. Whoop. It's perfect. Crunchy on the outside, that nice potato texture on the inside. You guys enjoy. Dan and E.T., don't forget, wring the water out of the potatoes, plenty of salt and pepper, and you'll be good. Alright? Enjoy!